Hello everyone, my name is Kaylin, and today I will present my journal article review written by Robert W. Cox. The title of the journal article is Civil Society at the Turn of the Millennium: Prospects for an Alternative World Order. This article was written by Robert W. Cox. It illustrated how the concept of civil society has evolved over the years, namely the changes it has undergone from when the concept was first introduced by Antonio Gramsci. The article gave light to how the definition of civil society has transformed itself throughout history and how external influences affect the transformation of civil societies. Moreover, the author also discussed how civil society has manifested in different regions of the world and how different factors present in various areas play a role in the emergence of civil society. The concept of civil society was developed by Antonio Gramsci. It is important to also note that the concept of civil society itself is based on the experience of Europe and America, mostly the Western world. In consequence, it is essential to remember that these experiences and phenomenons may not be able to explain the events in other regions of the world. In the context of social order, Gramsci argued that civil society is where social order originates from and where social change can also occur. According to Gramsci, civil society itself is an emancipatory force that can create social change and establish social order. Furthermore, civil society can transform the current status quo of society. Thus, it can also lead to social transformation. The definition of civil society is not something that is static. Rather, it is important to take into account historical factors and changing social forces when defining civil society in different eras. Civil society has transformed significantly throughout the years. During its initial years, civil society was defined and perceived as the space where personal interest is prevalent. At the time, it followed the interests of the bourgeoisie. However, others contested this claim, one of which is Karl Marx. Marx argued that civil society was based on the working class rather than the ruling class. Here, he understood civil society as a force that could challenge and transform the current social order and status quo. Another argument was brought to light by Alexis de Tocqueville, who understood civil society as a force that can mobilize population and tries to challenge the preceding power. He also highlighted the concept of voluntary association as well, which tries to illustrate how individuals come together to achieve a common interest or goal. Whilst Tocqueville adopts these concepts from the emergence of civil society in the United States, Europe's emergence of civil society stemmed from corporatism. The experiences of Europe and America birthed two different understandings of the emergence of civil society: top-down and bottom-up processes. The 20th century marked changes in the understanding of civil society, namely its emergence due to reverse corporatism. Increased interconnectedness and globalization also caused transformation to occur within society and the international stage. Globalization has resulted in the division of labor among states, which led to different hierarchical structure within society, with the highly skilled workers managing the production process. They're usually understood as those who are integrated within the structure. Others that have low skill are commonly understood as those who are precarious and have to internalize the negative externalities such as environmental effects. Finally is those who are excluded from the structure and process. These are commonly known as the excluded and are commonly unemployed and marginalized. As a result of the restructuring of the global economy, civil society is now associated with movements against corporates and states. Henceforth, civil society was understood as a force that can challenge the dominant established power. The bottom-up explanation elaborates how civil society is where individuals who are exploited and handicapped by globalization may express their frustration and attempt to find alternatives or create social change. Whilst the top-down explanation illustrates how states and businesses use their power to maintain the current structure and order of society through other institutions such as non-governmental organizations. The growing influence of international institutions, especially in the developed world, has also caused distrust to grow between the population and the government. The foundation for civil society in different regions varies. In Europe and North America, civil society is present as a force to challenge the capitalistic system, specifically aspects in production and finance. In the United States, there has been significant increase in distrust between the state and its people, which in turn becomes a catalyst for movements. In Europe, lack of government intervention has led to the establishment of new social movements. On the other hand, the emergence of civil society in Asian countries such as Japan was a response to Japanese corporatism. Moreover, other Asian countries such as South Korea also saw emergence of civil society to challenge the notions of globalization in Asia. In other areas of the world, such as Latin America, intervention from international organizations has emphasized distrust between the state and the population, which also led to the emergence of new social movements in the region. In Africa, the exclusion of the population in the political sphere has not only caused distrust to occur between the people and the state, but also how the people perceive international organizations as well. Through the author's writing, it is apparent that social order is rooted and maintained within civil society. As elaborated before, civil society itself is dynamic in nature and transforms depending on the current historical context of different areas. Hence, Gramsci's definition and explanation of civil society may be different with what we understand as civil society today. The text itself was elaborative and comprehensible, however, there were also limitations. Within the discussion of different capitalist development in the Asian region, the author only took into account the experiences of East and Southeast Asian countries, without including the experiences in South Asia. The journal article was able to present a new perspective to understand how civil society has transformed throughout the years, and its role in maintaining and changing existing social order. The author illustrated how civil society emerged due to various reasons and factors in different points in history. Furthermore, he also elaborated how different regions may have different factors coming into play. The relation between social order and civil society itself is directly related, as civil society is able to maintain or challenge existing social order.